What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the tower. So today I'm going to be going over all of the vault upgrades. Mainly just explaining all of them. Mostly would be in the harmony tree, since I think a lot of the power tree ones are pretty self-explanatory. But I'll still go over how good everything is. And yeah, let's get into it. So I'm going to go over the harmony tree first. I'm just going to discuss like the general layout before I actually go over any upgrades. So the harmony tree has one main path that's just going up the middle, and then has some upgrades on the side that you can get. All these upgrades in the middle are enhancement and module reroll discounts. These are actually pretty cheap. They cost 5 keys each. So yeah, compared to the rest of the stuff in the tree, you can actually get up here pretty quickly to get like any of the stuff up here. But yeah, each of these is just a 2.5% discount. They're pretty nice to have. I think these are the only places in the game where you can get discounts on either of these. I'm going to go a little bit out of order in this tree just to kind of go over stuff in a group because there's a lot of similar upgrades. Next, we have card slots. You can simply just get a lot more card slots from the vault. There's a total of 6. They slowly increase in key cost. They go up by 5 into the last two. So this first one is 10 keys. This one's 15 keys, this one's 20, this one's 25, and then they increase by 10. Since these are the newer upgrades in the most recent patch, the last two cost 35 and then 45, as you can see here. So yeah, if you unlock all of these and all the ones with the gems, you can get up to 27 card slots. That's pretty close to being able to equip every card in the game at once. So yeah, that's really nice. That's kind of the point of the harmony tree. It's like quality of life upgrades and stuff like that. So next I'm going to go over the automation upgrades. The 3 we have are for Demon Mode, Nuke, and Missile Barrage. So how these work is once you activate it, assuming you have the labs to recharge them, they will automatically activate again. So yeah, it's really nice for the masteries, especially like Demon Mode and Nuke. If you have the masteries, you can just use those at the start of the run and pretty much have the buff the entire time without having to worry that you're going to lose it. And then each upgrade also has a smart automation, which activates when you die or get hit. These two are when you die, or when you would die, I should say. And then the smart missile one is for when you get hit. This one's kind of weird since apparently it activates on a vampire hitting you, which wouldn't even mean you're close to dying at all. So I would say both of these are just not that good since Missile Barrage really isn't that good by itself. So definitely wouldn't get those. But yeah, these two, the Demon Mode and the Nuke ones, are pretty nice, especially for like idle runs or overnight runs. I guess that's kind of the same thing. It's really nice just to have them auto-activate without you actually having to click anything. So yeah, a lot of things in the harmony tree actually help a lot with making your runs more idle. Next, we have some of the Respec discounts and the presets. So we have 2. We have the ones for the workshop, and then up here we have the ones for the bots. So each of these upgrades cut the cost by 1/3 each level. Once you get to this level, it's free respecs. And then this lets you unlock presets. So you don't actually have to respec if you don't want to. Yeah, I'll show you that in here for the workshop. I'm not actually going to respec, but yeah, as you can see, it costs 0 gems. You can do that as many times as you want. And then for the bots, I actually do have the presets. So yeah, I can also respec the presets for 0 gems as well. And as you can see, I can just switch between these freely without having to actually respec. It just makes everything a lot easier. This one actually does have use though, because if you want to use all 4 bots for like different situations, you don't actually need all the medals, right? Since you can kind of just spread them out between 2 presets, since you don't need Golden Bot for tournaments, then you don't really need like Thunder Bot or Flame Bot for farming, in my case at least. But yeah, it helps you save medals there. I think when the vault came out, this is one of the first things I did, get up to here. The first thing I prioritized was getting the Demon Mode stuff, and then I think I went to this after that. And then also really in the bots, we have the bot Cooldown Sliders. So there's actually multiple aspects of this one, but it lets you get your bot's cooldown to any second you actually want. So the 2 things you can do with this is you can click your bot and decrease the cooldown level to whatever you want. You go all the way down, but you can select any level in here. And then the second aspect is you can adjust the lab of your cooldown of your bots. So if I want like Golden Bot at a specific second that you can't usually get with the regular slider in the bot section, you can use this and get there. May take a little adjustment though just to find where you want that. So if I would want a 52-second Golden Bot, all I'm going to have to do is decrease this by 2 levels. And then, yeah, you get to 52 seconds with that. But yeah, you wouldn't be able to normally get that with just this part of the slider. Next up, we have the add gem stacking, which is really nice. This is a really nice one. So gem spawns around every 10 to 15 minutes. So if you do have this last upgrade, you really only need to collect your gems like once every hour or so. And I've actually been leaving some of my gems to stack that I'll show you. If you've seen some of my other videos, you've probably seen this before. But yeah, right now they're stacked up to 3, and then they can go up to 25 if I let it go. Yeah, if I collect that, I'll get 15 gems. One thing I didn't know at first is if you collect your gems, does it reset the timer on like the next gem popping up? And the answer to that is no. so you don't have to worry about like watching the gem. But yeah, if you do get to the max stack, the timer for the next gem is not going to count down since you're already at max. So yeah, that's really nice that you don't have to worry about that at all. All right, now I'm going to go through the rest of them, just going from the bottom up. So we have the free mission reroll. I don't actually have this one, but yeah, since you can just regularly reroll your missions, you do the same thing. It's like the button like around right here. Instead of costing 5 gems, it just costs 0 gems. So you can pretty much just reroll for whatever type of shard you want. I wish you could like reroll missions that are already completed. I might actually get that one if that was the case. But yeah, I'm not trying to catch my missions like right when they appear, since like most of them autocomplete for me anyways. Probably not worth it to get that. The next one also related to daily missions is the daily mission shard type. So this one I think is a little bit more useful. So you can just select any shard type, and every mission you get will have that shard type. Crowbar Zero does use this one. He's been doing it for core shards right now. You might be able to see it in one of our most recent progress updates. But yeah, that's really nice if you're trying to focus one shard type. If you're trying to get like an extra substat slot on something, that's nice. Next we have the Auto Shatter rare modules. So yeah, this is literally the exact same as the Auto Shatter for commons, but yeah, it also shatters rares. I don't know if there's another like checkbox you have to click, but yeah, you can also auto shatter your rares. I don't have that one either. I really don't think it's too bad to shatter rares. It doesn't take that long. So yeah, I never really ended up getting that. Next is the auto restart run, and I really like this one. Especially if you're doing like shorter runs, this one's really good. Super good for overnight runs as well. So if I start a run here and just end it, you'll see that there's a auto retrying thing down here. And yeah, in 5 minutes, it will auto restart the run. When you do get this though, this is unchecked. So yeah, if you just got it, make sure you start and end a run and then check the box, and then you'll be fine from there. So yeah, I would say that one's definitely worth it. Next up, we have Charge Berserker, which I don't think this one's really good. I've said this before, but I think the only case that this one is good, if you're using the Death Wave damage pool for your farming or something, this one's nice just so you don't have to, just so you have more damage for your pool to last longer. That one's really nice for that, but there's really no other use that you would want this for. Next, we have the Damage Limiter, or the Damage Cap Sliders, the game says. This one can be good sometimes. I think this one's actually a lot better if you're farming lower tiers, like tiers without the armor. Tier 14 lower. Yeah, tier 15 is the first one with armor on. So yeah, how this one works is you now have a menu in your damage screen, right? That will start at 100%. And it will just limit your damage based on the enemy's health. So yeah, if I had 42 big Q damage, I'm not going to have that, but if I did, then this wouldn't be limiting it at all, right? But if I go down to 10%, let's say, and I do have this 42Q damage, it will limit it to 10% of the health. So 10% of the enemy health would be 4.22Q, or 4.23 if you round it up. So yeah, it would limit my damage to that then. But of course, I'm not going to have that nearly that much damage. But you can go a lot lower than just 10 or 1%. You can go so much lower. You can go down to -18, which just decreases it by 10 times every click, pretty much. As you can see, you can kind of see that if you look at the damage number. Ideally, you probably want this at the point where you're not dying like at the start of your run. Most of the time, like the lower you can go is going to be more efficient for your farming runs. And lastly, in the Harmony tree, we have the Workshop Orb Adjuster. I'll just quickly show you what that looks like as well. So yeah, it's pretty much just lets you adjust your workshop orbs the same as your extra orbs. And yeah, it's really nice for like low range farming if you're at that point of the game. But yeah, you can just put your workshop orbs wherever you're able to put your extra orbs. But yeah, the same limits do apply. A certain percentage away from the tower, and yeah, the minimum is 60 meters unless you have a lower range than that. But yeah, this upgrade allows a lot of different builds, and yeah, it's really useful in a lot of cases. So now we're gonna move on to the power tree. So I'm just gonna go over the general layout again. So we have 3 main sections. So yeah, we have 3 main sections, 3 paths in each section. They kind of correlate to the workshop upgrade. So you have the attack path, the defense path, and then the utility path, I guess you would say. And then, yeah, you have different upgrades in each section. So here's the first one. Then the second one's right here. And then the third one's up here. And in between each section and on the sides, you have an ultimate damage boost and a bot range boost. So you get 4 of those total if you work your way to the top. 1 on the end, and then 2 between the sections, and then 1 right at the start. These upgrades are really nice. All the ultimate damage upgrades cost 15 keys, and then the bot range upgrades cost 20. So those aren't too bad. And as you may have noticed, some of my upgrades have stars on them. These are from the Tier 2 and Tier 3 power tree upgrades. So pretty much how this works is you can unlock the Tier 2 first. To be able to unlock the Tier 2, you need to have 30 regular upgrades just anywhere in the tree. So yeah, each of these tier 2 upgrades are actually double the regular ones. So the regular upgrade for this was 25 keys, but now it's 50 keys, as you can see here, for the tier 2. A few of the upgrades don't actually have the tier 2 and 3. I think the main ones are the wall rebuild here, shockwave frequency, and then the orbs. And then, of course, the ultimate damage and bot range upgrades don't have those either. But yeah, these upgrades definitely add a lot of extra key cost to the tree. Then tier 3 has the same requirements as tier 2, except you also need 15 tier 2 nodes. And then the cost of each tier 3 upgrade is actually triple the original cost. So the original cost of this enemy attack skip was 25. The tier 2 of this is 50, and then the tier 3 would be 75. So yeah, I think most of the key costs in the entire tree is from tier 3 and then tier 2 as well. But yeah, the power tree is definitely a lot more expensive than the harmony tree. So yeah, for this tree, I'm kind of just going to go in order. So yeah, you have the ultimate damage and the bot range. I'll just go left to right, I guess. You have defense absolute, health regen, health, and defense percent. I think if you actually use these stats, I think these two would be the best for you here. I don't think this one's too much of a boost to matter that much. Maybe in like tournaments it could be, but not for farming. You can reach the cap really fast with that. But there are a few upgrades in the tree that are really good for farming tier 2 nodes. Like this one is super good. It's a total of 15 keys, and you can get an entire tier 2, assuming you're working towards your tier 3 power tree upgrade. And this one's also pretty good for that. Yeah, if you're at the level where you have this many keys and you're working towards the tier 3, these stats are not going to do anything for you. Next, we have a damage emitter, critical chance, damage, and super crit chance. If you have Spotlight Plus, this one's actually a really good value for the amount of keys it costs. Of course, these are all going to be good, but I think the best value ones here are the damage and the damage emitter. And then on the right side, we have cash, coins a kill, enemy attack skip, and enemy health skip. Of course, these skips are going to be good no matter how much they cost. Enemy skips are just really good in this game. So yeah, if you use either of those are definitely going to be worth it. This one's also a really good value for working towards your tier 2 or tier 3, since it costs 5 at tier 1. But this one's also really good just for coins in general. 5% boost to coins a kill at tier 1 is a lot. And then you can continue to upgrade that more with the tier 2 and tier 3. So this is a super good value. I would say this is probably going to be one of my first tier 3s once I finally unlock that. Moving up to the next section, you have your ultimate damage and bot range. And then you also have the tier 2 here. I'll just work left to right again. So we have thorn damage, knockback force, orb speed, and wall rebuild. I don't think most of these are too worth it. I would say these last two are the only good ones. Orb speed's really nice for boss hits, especially if you have Chrono Field Plus. Every hit you can get on a boss helps, so that's always good to have. And then if you do have a lot of rebuild upgrades, this one's pretty good. If you don't have good investment in wall rebuild though, definitely don't get this. You'd probably need the substat and the Fortress Mastery maxed to get good value out of this one. In the attack path here, we have Rend Armor Molt, Crit Factor, Attack Speed, and Super Crit Molt. I don't think most of these are too good. I would say Critical Factor is probably the best here. Attack Speed's also pretty nice, but Rend Armor Molt is pretty much useless, and then this boost is okay, but I think the Critical Factor is going to be better. Critical Factor usually makes a bigger difference than Super Crit Molt or Super Crit Chance. And then on the right side here, we have Recovery Amount, and then all three of the free upgrades. We have free attack upgrade, free defense upgrade, and free utility upgrade. I think most of these are not good unless you're using Black Hole Digester, of course. If you're not farming with Black Hole Digester, these are not going to be worth it. But these are really nice boosts if you are using that, though. It's pretty much just more coins. Yeah, I have the tier 2 on all of these. And then if you're not using EHP, this one's just useless as well. So yeah, just use that one to get to these three in that case. And then yeah, on to the last section, we have the ultimate damage and bot range again with the tier 3 right here. Going up the left side, we have knockback chance, shockwave frequency, death defy, and orbs. So there's some really good ones here. I think everything except the knockback chance is good. That's not going to help that much. But yeah, the shockwave frequency is really good with anti-cube portal. You get a lot more consistency on that with your damage multiplier there. You can go down to 9 seconds if you have the substat for that, which is a really good uptime on that multiplier. And then yeah, Death Defy is nice if you're running a glass cannon build. But yeah, of course that's not going to help if you're a hybrid or EHP build. Nice for the Berserker Mastery, just to get an extra chance for that. And then the Orb is super nice as well. Just great for farming and Orb boss hits and stuff like that. Pretty much the same case as the Orb Speed, just more consistency. Working up the middle path, we have the Rend Armor Chance, Rapid Fire Chance, Multi-Shot Chance, and Bounce Shot Chance. Most of these aren't super good in value. I would definitely prioritize some of the other damage ones over these. Bounce Shot Chance is really nice since as you get closer to 100%, it gets like better and better as you upgrade it more. So yeah, if you have the substat, this one's good to go for. I personally went for this to use the bounce web strategy that I've talked about in a few of my other videos recently. Yeah, you just want as many projectiles as you can get with that, so I mean, yeah, these are really nice to get a lot more projectiles. Also helps for like chain lightning damage. If you use that, these would be good for that. And lastly, on the right side, we have max recovery, interest a wave, cash a wave, and coins a wave. So these ones are all actually pretty bad, I think. Unless they get buffed in the future, these are not going to be that good. These all just get outclassed pretty much by coins to kill and cash bonus, for these at least. And then, yeah, this just helps EHP or hybrid builds. So that's not good when you're a glass cannon, of course. The one good thing about these, though, is they're decent for going for tier 2 or tier 3. I think by the time you would be up here, you would probably have tier 2 already. But yeah, they're still decent for farming for tier 3, since it's only 30 per tier 2 for the entire thing. And yeah, 120 keys will get you all 4 of these tier 2s. Which, yeah, could be nice if you're really prioritizing that. And then, yeah, of course, after that, we have the ultimate damage and the bot range again. So yeah, that covers both the trees. I think a lot of the upgrades you prioritize in the trees aren't down to like what's the most efficient. I think a lot of it is just like preference on like what build you are and stuff like that. There's not like a most efficient path to go in either of these trees. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to go. There's a lot of good upgrades on most paths. And yeah, it's pretty much just up to you what you want to prioritize. So yeah, if you have any questions about any upgrades or anything else like that, you can go ahead and leave those in the comments. And yeah, see ya.